let us all shed a collective tear for Dominic Ray, the latest murderer who claims that his precious rights are about to be violated as he's scheduled to be put to death in Alabama. Here's the skinny. Mr. Ray is Muslim, but apparently not one of those de rigueur, peace-loving Muslims we so often hear about, because in 1995, Ray fatally stabbed 15-year-old Tiffany Harvell, all so that he could rob her of her purse that contained about $7. He was convicted in 1999. Ray's been on death row for quite a while now, but finally he's scheduled to be dispatched on February the 7th. Well, maybe. You see, suddenly this 42-year-old murderer is a devout Muslim, and that means the state of Alabama will, of course, be violating his precious rights by requiring that a Christian prison chaplain stands near him as he's put to death. So it is that Ray's lawyers have asked a federal judge to stay his execution while the court considers his claim, which is to say Ray wants a Muslim imam standing in the execution chamber during the lethal injection process. According to the lawsuit, the prison warden has refused his request. In an Associated Press story, it is noted that condemned Alabama inmates can visit with their own spiritual advisor before an execution, and they can even have that person witness the execution from an adjoining room. But alas, this is apparently not enough reasonable accommodation for this particular child killer. Indeed, Ray's attorneys say the chaplain's mandatory presence in the execution chamber can serve only one interest, an unconstitutional one, safeguarding the soul or spiritual health of the condemned inmate in the Christian belief system. Ooh, that's harsh. You know, I wonder what care and consideration Mr. Ray gave to the spiritual health of Tiffany Harvell as he slit her throat open some 24 years ago. Did he butcher her in a humane fashion for that $7 bounty, or did he just viciously slash away? I know I'm being a bit of a hard ass here when it comes to thinking about the true victim, but so be it. In fact, I'm getting a bit tired of reasonably accommodating those in society who are amongst the most unreasonable. What's more, I really don't think Ray gives a rodent's rectum that there will be a Christian pastor in the execution chamber. Rather, this is what's known as ragging the puck. Ray is embracing yet another delay tactic to squeeze a few more weeks of attendance amongst the living. And if I am wrong about this and the presence of a Christian pastor is giving Ray untold grief, is any reasonable person going to lose sleep over this? If he departs to hell in a pissed off fashion, isn't that kind of a bonus? You know, it reminds me how so much delicate care went into burying Osama bin Laden's body at sea back in 2011. At a White House briefing, advisor John Brennan told reporters that the burial of bin Laden's remains was done in strict conformance with Islamic precepts and practices. And it was prepared in accordance with the Islamic requirements, said Brennan, quote, "We early on made provisions for that type of burial, and we wanted to make sure that it was going to be done again in strictest conformance," end quote. He went on to note that the body was washed and placed in a white sheet, and a military official read prepared remarks which were translated into Arabic. Just a second here. We're talking Osama freaking bin Laden here, right? You know, the mastermind behind the 9/11 terrorist attacks in which almost 3,000 died and more than 6,000 were injured. And somehow the Obama administration was obsessed with making sure the corpse of this filth was cleansed as per Islamic requirements. Really? You know, here's what I would have done, folks. I would have purchased the prize sow at the Idaho State Fair and used its hide as bin Laden's shroud. If wannabe jihadists are motivated by superstition in carrying out their grotesque attacks, i.e. the belief that 72, count them, 72, voluptuous black-eyed virgins await them in the afterlife, well then, let's make these jihadis unclean prior to departure so they don't make it to the afterlife. Maybe that will scare him straight before donning that suicide vest. As for Mr. Ray, let's hope this pathetic delay tactic is thrown out of court. Give him that long needle already. For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, you can now listen to all Rebel shows as a podcast. Please go to therebel.media/listen.